It's poison.
Homer was about to poison the Muslims. This is the first episode. The first episode in this series.
Hey, what are you doing? Help me.
This is going to make a great coming up bit at the start of the video. This is it. Like the dog from Futurama, I waited for years for The Simpsons to return to its former glory before I eventually just couldn't go on. And I recently realised there's millions of 90s Simpsons fans who haven't seen 75% of the show. So, in the name of content, what happens when a 90s Simpsons fan watches the modern episodes? I have no idea.
We're doomed!
And when I say modern, I mean any episode released this century.
These unfortunate people here will be instantly killed. This circle, which I am sad to say we are in, will experience a slower, considerably more painful death.
Good lord!
We'll choose which episode we're going to watch with a random number generator, which takes the form of...
Greetings, friend. Today's episode is My Pods and Boomsticks. Good luck.
The episode starts at Springfield Mall, where the family and a completely true-to-character Lisa discover...
Our mall got a Maple store! My pods, my phones.
At this point, Bart decides to pull a prank on the excitable Maple customers who are receiving a live video announcement from, you guessed it,
Steve Mobs.
Well, that's just classic Mary Mud Miting.
And that announcement is...
You're all losers!
We're supposed to believe that the audience wouldn't be able to tell the difference between his voice and Bart's voice. Not only that, but just literally seconds apart. Almost a little bit strange that Bart thought it would work. But what's fascinating about this is...
You with the crane! Spin around real fast!
So yeah, the 90s Simpsons writers already ridiculed this form of lazy writing themselves back in season 6, where they have Bart do the exact same prank, but add an absurd but funny twist.
Hey, can't you tell my voice from a 10-year-old kid's?
Whereas this does the lazy joke, but it doesn't do the smart switch around.
Like caramba!
And I think already we've stumbled into something which encapsulates the difference between the Simpsons from the 90s and the Simpsons from probably the early 2000s onwards. Bart continues to prank. Fortunately, his and Steve Mob's voice lip syncs perfectly, so that's a bit of luck. Corporate shill Lisa dobs Bart in,
He was my brother Bart!
which causes the Maple employees to form an angry mob and they begin to chase Bart.
Get him, guard!
Get away, Bart!
Stupid angry mob chasing me because I shine a harsh light on modern society.
It just stopped? It just ended? I've never seen that before in any form of art. I've never seen them set up this kind of angry mob chasing a character, and the character almost gets bored at the same time as the writers do, and it's like, oh. This video is not sponsored by Celsius at Sunset Vibe, so all the other energy drinks out there who are thinking, oh no, we've missed our opportunity to sponsor Luke and give him some money whilst he's talking about The Simpsons. I'm a very desperate man, so I will take sponsorship from pretty much anything. If there are any brothels out there, any crystal meth, this isn't going to do well for the old YouTube striking. If any motorised personal vehicles are thinking of sponsoring me, I wouldn't, because I think the phrase horrific segue is going to pop up quite a bit. So after calmly walking away from the flaying mob, Bart becomes instant friends with a Muslim boy after wandering into his garden because he smelled food.
Hello, would you like some lamb?
It would... Why did they need... Right, it's early. This is the first episode. I'm going to calm down because if I'm getting worked up about this... So Bart and Bashir become brilliant friends immediately for no real reason, and the next day they encounter the bullies.
What's your name?
Bashir?
Bash here? I love a kid that comes with directions.
I didn't mind that Bashir joke. I think just because it's skating that line of... Sounds a bit dodgy. Question is, how did they come up with that joke? Did they write the name Bashir and then one of the writers was like, guys, there is an open goal. I think it's consistent with what the bullies would say. So, you get a pass from me.
I'm gonna punch you extra hard because I secretly think you're cute.
Okay, right. I just said, you got a pass from me because I thought the bullies would probably say that. What I don't think the bullies would say, I'm going to punch you especially hard because I think you're cute. Alright, this is going to be a phrase which I believe I'm going to say a lot. Character breaking comedy. A line or a joke which the writers have gone, hey, that's a bit of social commentary on how I feel, or it's just something that I think is particularly funny. Oh, but the character wouldn't say that. He doesn't really. It doesn't matter. I'm crowbarring it in. But you're kind of ruining the foundations of the show, because now the characters are saying whatever line that you think is funny and isn't consistent with how those characters would think and act. I don't care. I just want to get this script done, and it needs to be funny, and I can't be bothered to think of something which is funny and consistent with the characters. 9 minutes 56 seconds into this episode, Homer is introduced to Bashir, which, considering the ultimate theme of this episode, which you're going to find out, is quite telling.
Milhouse is looking good. He's got contacts, changed color, got a cool new catchphrase. Salam alaikum.
I don't know. I don't think the Homer I know looks at a Muslim kid and thinks it's Milhouse with a makeover.
Dad, that's Bashir, my new friend.
I think that's gone beyond Homer is stupid into we need to be worried about Homer. He seems to be mentally ill these days. Homer and Bashir instantly hit it off, and to be fair, I did quite like this line.
Sir, that's the kind of respect you'd have to strangle out of an American kid.
We then see how Homer is telling his friends about how great this kid is, and well...
Hey, Carl, got any idea what direction Mecca's in?
Why don't you ask Homer?
Homer, this is serious. This Bashir kid is Muslim, and therefore up to something.
Seriously? This is the episode you get me to watch first? This is insane.
But think about the clickbaity thumbnail you'll make.
So Homer's friends show him a clip of a 24-esque show with a brown-skinned terrorist, and that's it. Within the space of 19 seconds, Homer has gone from loving Bashir's
great
to now concocting some kind of plan to out them and their actual evilness.
I guess I have no choice.
This is just quite jarring, and maybe the writers are like, yeah, that's the point, this is how quickly propaganda spreads. Maybe, but bloody hell, it's quite hard on us, who are supposedly liking and rooting for these characters who we've known for so long.
Okay, get ready, Britain, because the Simpsons are coming.
To just be told, yeah, Homer can just become quite mean and bigoted just like that.
And quietly judging.
I want some resistance, or I want some character-driven reason as to why Homer would feel a certain way. Well, what's the problem, Luke? You enjoyed the episode which explored Homer's homophobia.
Yeah, what's the difference?
John is a
Right?
sexual.
It felt like it was tapping in to an unfocused on bigotry which may have existed from Homer's generation back in the 90s.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I danced with a gay!
And what that episode did was flip that on its head by showing scene after scene of Homer desperately trying to make his prejudice make sense.
Homer, what have you got against gays?
The more he did, the more it revealed that there was nothing keeping it upright.
You know, it's not usual.
It then evolves into him worrying that his absence of being a traditional alpha male role model could potentially have pushed Bart towards being gay.
The boy was wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
So?
It's stupid, but at least it's somewhat grounded, with Homer wondering if he's been a good enough father.
This whole thing is my fault. I've been a lousy dad.
He's wrong, but he's oddly taking responsibility. It's an interesting mix.
You're leaving the arm there too long. You want to make it worse?
For an entire second act, we all saw Homer as the butt of the joke, as it was unraveling that the world around him was already way more gay than he realized, and yet it still hadn't gone to hell.
Oh, be nice!
So when we get to a very similar scene where Homer discusses his situation to his sympathetic bar buddies, we've spent time with this prejudice, we've digested it and understood what's driving it. But there's also another difference. Their intention.
Bart could shoot a deer!
Their intention, misguided or not, is to help Homer with his predicament with Bart. It's not a plan to get John.
Then you just sit back and watch the grandkids roll in.
Whereas in this episode...
Invite him over.
Little dinner, a little dessert, and then you Jack Bauer them into giving you all their secrets.
I don't know what a Jack Bauer them means exactly, but I can't imagine it's good. So Homer invites his family around for dinner, and the whole time he's trying to trip them up and get them to reveal that they're secretly terrorists.
Why, just the other day I was reading that science is used to make bums.
It feels very Family Guy. Already I'm a little bit sad. So let's get the old sunset vibe. Wonderful for watching Simpsons episodes with. See, it's working already.
You got some attitude, mister.
I don't think they're good enough writers to write a comedy about that subject. And they are showing that right now with just how, like, the gear shifts of, like, Homer likes this guy, now he doesn't. Why? Because Lenny and Carl and Moe are all bigots. Are they? I don't, okay, but now Homer's a real bigot because he's concocting some kind of evil scheme.
I made us a little cake. Care to cut?
I know Homer, I know by the end of the episode Homer's gonna realize the error of his ways. It's just, spoiler, not as much as you think. It doesn't feel nice seeing a character so quickly become so suspicious or bigoted. Like I said, treat it with the respect it deserves, right? Why was we messing about with Steve Mobs? You did a minute-long Itchy and Scratchy episode about Einstein's brain. If you're gonna do an episode tackling a subject like this, don't start the story halfway through the episode, okay? Okay. Oh. Sunset vibe. Sunset vibe.
Up. Don't eat that, sweetie. It's poison.
Homer was about to poison the Muslims.
It's the first annual Montgomery Burns Award for outstanding achievement in.
Earlier, I introduced to you guys the phrase of character breaking comedy. This is character killing comedy. How the hell can anybody like Homer as a character when you've just insinuated that he was trying to kill Muslims or anybody for no reason, apart from this crappy social commentary on how propaganda can kind of spread quite quickly? But there's one thing about being prejudiced, there's another thing being a murderer. Show me where in Homer's Phobia, show me the scene where he was about to kill him.
Zap!
There wasn't one. Why? Because the writers didn't want to break Homer for good. How in the writers' room were they like, do you know what would be really funny? If Homer tried to kill the Muslims? Tell me more. You've abused and mangled characters which millions and millions of people loved. And if they can do that to Homer, it means they just can do anything. I didn't expect to feel as sad as I do right now. And I really mean that. It's sad watching that.
These are not tears. We are vomiting from our eyes.
Marge tells Homer to go to the Bin Laden's house to apologize. That, by the way, isn't me trying to be funny. It's what the writers christened or Muslim that family.
What? Are you still here?
Which leads to this delightful line.
I am sorry I suspected you of being soulless murderers of innocent children.
It genuinely feels like someone, they've come in from another show with a different set of rules. And they've gone, well, I've already written the script now, so we're gonna scribble off the names of all the characters and then change them and replace them with The Simpsons.
Dynamite! They are terrorists!
This is gonna get worse before it gets better, isn't it? You bet you're sweet, Burka. We then get a dream sequence where Homer foresees Muslims taking over Springfield and turning everything Islamic. Well, the comment section should be good. Looking forward to that.
Is that a My Pod?
I don't know what this B story is, by the way. Basically, earlier on at the Maple store, Lisa is just given the thing that she really wants seconds after we, the audience, find out that she really wants it.
I'm a Maple person.
Remember when the characters had to save up or earn the things they wanted? Like, when Bart saved up for that spy camera.
Spy camera. Where is my spy camera,
Wait,
lady?
wait a minute, that is the same mail lady from that episode.
Delivery for Lisa Simpson?
Although for some reason she has different hair, and why isn't she voiced by Maggie Roswell?
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Anyway, Lisa is then shocked to discover that she's been charged $1,200 because she's downloaded 1,212 songs. I don't really understand why she'd be surprised. Lisa should know things cost money.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Again, like, was there a B story in Homer's Phobia? There wasn't. Was there a B story in the episode where Apu was going to be kicked out of the country because of the new immigration law? There wasn't. And this is effectively giving this story, I don't know, approximately about 11 minutes from Bart makes a Muslim friend, how he smells lamb. And that's genuinely the start of it. He smells lamb, having run away from an angry mob. Stay with me. If you're gonna do this subject, you need no B stories. Back to the Killer A plot, pun magnificently intended, as stalky old Homer has gone back to the Bin Laden's house, but unfortunately can't hear parts of the dad's sentences.
But I love blowing up buildings.
Oh my God!
Safely and legally.
Because, you see, he's ducking underneath the window, and that is how sound works, exactly like vision. So this Looney Tunes-inspired misunderstanding leads Homer to warn everybody to evacuate the mall, believing it's about to be blown up. Well, nearly everybody.
Run for your... stay where you are!
We know Homer doesn't like Patty and Selma. In fact, he wishes that life's a bit tough for them. He doesn't wish that life should be over for them.
Too far.
This is what happens when you take these character traits and you lazily extend them beyond the realms of relatability and realism. You might be saying, Luke, you're thinking way too much into it, it's just a joke. But this is my point, that this is a character-breaking joke. How can I relate to this man? I can relate to the guy who...
I have to see a slideshow starring my wife's sisters. Or as I call them, the gruesome twosome.
can't relate to the guy who's okay with them being dead. And it's just a difference, and... If it wasn't painstakingly obvious by now, we have Bart remind the audience that Bashir's dad works in demolition. Not Al-Qaeda! But despite the sign, the crowd, the police presence, the barriers, the empty old mall, Homer still thinks he's saving the town from a terrorist attack, but he runs from the mall he's told people to evacuate to save a completely different building. You can tell I'm struggling to make sense of what I'm watching here. That's damn fine plot holes you've got here in season 20. Even though they're blowing up an empty building, he says USA, USA, and then throws it into some water, which then blows up a bridge to the Duff Brewery. The Duff Brewery trucks then fall into the river. I'm not making this up. Homer then jumps into the river to try and save the cans of beer. Which gives us one more gag showing Homer not giving a crap about somebody potentially dying.
What? Way to go, Homer!
You're number one, Homer!
By my count, that's 5 people in the last 10 minutes. I'm curious to see if that record gets broken. We've finally come to the conclusion of the episode where Homer shows character growth, a shift in his perspective, humility, and...
That banner has really paid for itself over the years.
We accept your apology.
I might have blacked out because it just seemed like everybody just accepted an apology which we didn't see and everything's fine. There was no lesson. How quickly Homer suspected these people of being terrorists was how quickly he dropped that suspicion. A suspicion which involved him risking his life. This whole episode feels to me like a kid's gone up to Al Jean, the showrunner, and said, I'd like to write an episode of Simpsons. I think I'd write a good one. And Al Jean's gone, all right, you little son of a bitch. Do it like how we do it, okay? So we assign each writer a story. Okay. Write an episode about a bunch of Muslims moving to Springfield and Homer wanting to kill them, all right? Oh, and do a B plot about Lisa getting into debt with Apple and she has to go to the bottom of the ocean to speak to Steve Jobs to kind of rectify that. Yeah? See how you're getting on with that script, you little... And then Al Jean's received the script back and gone, pretty bloody good, this script. Oh, look, Kearney's gay now. That is comedy.
I didn't realize it at the time, but a little piece of my childhood had slipped away.
Now my boyfriend Bill Gates and I kiss each other on a pile of your money.
What seems a bit strange as well is that they don't say Steve Jobs, they call him Steve Mobs, but they call Bill Gates Bill Gates. Might have been one of those things they recognized in the writer's room, but were like, who cares? And maybe like that is the problem. Maybe back in the day, they didn't have that attitude. Maybe they went, well, we care.
Were there any parts you liked?
I liked the first Lenny Bubble.
The doorbell will tell you when they're here.
Bashir. At the beginning, there was some okay stuff at the mall. I liked this Cat Stevens gag later on, but basically, even if the episode had been like the funniest Simpsons episode ever, the characterization, man, the characterization. I think comedically, there's going to be a lot worse in this episode. I genuinely think that. I think there were some okay bits here and there. I can't give an episode where they write Homer like that anything more than a 0.5. I just can't.
That's it. Ruin a perfect evening.
I know we're never going to see this Muslim family again. Bart's friendship with the kid felt so, like, crowbarred. Like, why was Bart friends with him?
He smoked lamb. What more of a reason do you need?
Anybody who stands by this episode, we've just got very different ideas of how The Simpsons should be written, or how Homer, the character, should be written. And I want to promote and encourage you to watch the next one of these, but I have no idea what episode it's going to be, which makes it exciting, right? It could be, you know, something great, or it could be an episode where Homer runs over a bunch of Africans for some reason, because, I don't know, Lionel Hutz told him to do it.
They got this all screwed up.
Whatever the hell these guys have conjured up over the 20 years that I haven't really been watching the show, I'm going to find out about it, and you are at the same time with me. Let's go.
Kids, did you like your YouTuber? Meh. Well, at least it's tasteful. Just like Sunset Vibe.
Such a classy drink.
I have a court order demanding an immediate halt to this unauthorized imitation. Boys,